When I was a kid, I had a lot of phrases thrown at me when I was making some kind of mistakes. I mean, who would come up with phrases like, slow and steady wins the race, or, absence makes the heart grow fonder. All these kind of phrases. You're a small kid, you'll obviously get confused. But now when I've actually grown up, I kind of think about all those phrases that my elders threw at me, and I kind of find it interesting. Now, you must be thinking what we are going to discuss in this lesson. We are actually going to discuss Proverbs, all right? Now, Proverbs, just as an introduction, I would definitely say that these, as a definition, that Proverbs are phrases that actually come through experience, okay? They're people who make mistakes, who learn from their mistakes, and they form these phrases so that they kind of warn their young ones not to make the same mistakes again. Hi everyone, I'm Ria, and today's lesson is all going to be about Proverbs, all right? So on the board, we're going to use some interesting, or we're going to see some interesting English proverbs that we can use in our daily lives, all right? Now, haste makes waste. You might not have heard about this one, okay? Haste makes waste actually means that rushing will only spoil things, okay? This proverb means that rushing will only spoil things, all right? When, for example, okay, when you're making a dish, all right, and you're actually rushing with it, you're just putting in all the spices and probably some kind of vegetables and trying to make it all in a haste, you will actually spoil your recipe. You'll actually spoil the dish that you're making, okay? It is always advised never to rush into things, okay? So when you're going to advise someone about not rushing, you can always use the phrase or the proverb, haste makes waste. Meaning that if you're doing something, if you're doing an activity or doing a routine, okay, rushing will only spoil it, okay? So it's better to take your time, think about it, and do it accordingly as per the routine, all right? So that is what haste makes waste means. Going into the second one, you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar, okay? If you are familiar with these words, honey is something very sweet, okay, and vinegar is something that's probably very sour, okay? So now this phrase actually means that you can lure more people with sweeter words than sour ones. Isn't that true? All right? If somebody speaks to you in a very sweet manner, in a soft manner, aren't you interested to do something for that person? And if someone comes around and starts shouting at you that you have to do this and you have to do that, will you actually follow it? Definitely not, okay? So it's how you speak, you will get the other person to do something for you. This is how the phrase is being used, okay? You're going to lure more people to do things for you. So you can catch more flies with honey than vinegar. Now this is a phrase to use, okay, if somebody is really mean to you and is trying to get work done out of you and is being absolutely mean, you can always use this phrase by saying you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. The person will get the message. Yes? Okay, that's about this proverb. Now going on to the third one. Rolling stones gather no moss, okay? Rolling stones gather no moss. Can you visualize it? Okay, rolling stones. So probably in a river, you have stones that are going with the flow, okay, with the flow of the river, okay. So you have, now in comparison to a stone that is actually sitting on the bed, okay, on the bed of the river, there are some stones that are just rolling away, okay. Now a very good example comes to my mind, okay. Now in this situation, let me define it first, okay. Now, people who are, okay, people who are impatient, okay, people who are impatient do not succeed, okay. People who are impatient do not actually succeed. Okay, now I'll tell you how this works. Now, if the stones are moving on quickly, okay, now with the stones, refer to a person who's hopping jobs, okay, just for a measly amount, okay. You might be earning a few more dollars or a few more rupees at some other jobs. So you're hopping jobs. You're not actually stabilizing yourself at one place, okay. So people who are moving on or hopping around in the jobs, they actually firstly, they're very impatient, and secondly, they're not able to grasp, okay, what is actually required in the job, okay, in comparison to those people who stick in one place. They learn all that they have to learn, okay, and that is how you compare it to a stone that is embedded, okay, on the river bank, and it gets this beautiful green moss on it, okay. This is only through time, okay. This actually proverb shows the importance of time, okay. The more you hop from job to job is the more you're going to not learn things, okay. You're already impatient, okay, and you're not going to learn the things that you're supposed to learn over time, in comparison to a person who sticks to a job and who learns things very, very slowly, okay. So this one is actually used for very, very impatient people. Yes, all right. Now going on to the fourth one. A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. I'm sure this was, created in the ancient times, okay. Chain, just keep that in mind, okay. Now defining this, okay, you have a chain, okay, and you are strong as the weakest link, okay. So a group or a team is as strongest as the weakest member. Now imagine a team of cricket players, okay. I know you boys out there, you must be loving cricket, okay. Now out of all the players, there's one who's not as strong as the rest of them, okay. Just because one is not strong and the coach is not actually he's not worried about it, that one of the members is not as strong, it actually can be hazardous for the team, okay. That one member can create a lot of problems, and because of that one member, the team can actually lose, okay. So every member is very, very important in that team. Same as with any organization, with any company, okay. Everybody is important, okay. They form parts of a chain. Now if you're wearing a chain, very literal example, you're wearing a chain, if one link is a little weak, obviously it will break very easily and you lose your chain, okay. Now that is a literal meaning, and that is how you have to remember it. Now if something happens, okay, if in a team, if there's a person who's not working as hard, and if you see that your team leader is not actually worried about it, you better tell your team leader that a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, okay. I hope you understand this proverb. Going on to the next one. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I have an emotional attachment to this one. I think this is very, very important. This was first used in the Bible, in the Holy Bible, and it was later, okay, it was later used by Sir Abraham Lincoln, okay, the former president of the United States. He used this this proverb in 1858, okay. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Very visual, okay. You have a house, all right, it's based on a foundation, okay. If you break the house, is it going to stand? Are you able to keep those two halves, standing still, okay? What do you take out of it? Do you think this is going to talk about a physical house? No, it actually talks about family relations. Okay, it talks about family relations. Now you have a beautiful family. Once you start dividing, okay, the pillars, once you start dividing them, the house is not going to stand, okay. This is a beautiful thought that is used in our Indian culture, okay. We actually emphasize on this, that everybody has to stick together, the pillars have to be together so that the house is actually standing. It depends on cultures as well and how they live, but this was a very beautiful proverb that was that was shown in the Holy Bible and later used by Sir Abraham Lincoln, that a house divided against itself cannot stand. Now, if your family has these kind of problems, or your friends even, a group of really good friends are having problems like this, you can always use this phrase, that a house divided against itself cannot actually stand. Okay, this is the most important phrase to use. So I hope you have enjoyed those previous proverbs. Now let's just see some others, okay, some other interesting proverbs that we can use in our daily conversation. Okay, the next one is, learn till old, live till old, and there's still 1/3 not learned. This one is a Chinese one. Okay, learn till old, live till old, and there's still 1/3 not learned. It actually means that you can keep on learning, okay, till you die. That's an interesting one, right? We can learn as many things as possible. Still, you might not have learned everything. Okay, you might have just learned 1/3 or just a bit of what you're supposed to learn. Okay, learning is endless. All right. Now, this proverb is used so that you encourage yourself. Okay, you push yourself to learn more and more. This life, even though we might say is the longest thing that there is, but still we are not able to grasp everything that this world, this universe has to offer. Now, whenever you need to advise a small kid or anybody who does not want to learn as much, or is thinking of stopping or putting a ceiling on their learning process, you can always say that please learn till old, live till old, and there's still 1/3 not learned. That means you have to learn as much as possible. All right. So the next one we have is, well begun is half done. Okay, very simply, have a great start. Okay, now when you're starting a project, okay, if you're well prepared, okay, and you have like an absolutely great start, okay, instead of just making a small start, if you have a very strong where you initialize something, okay, the work is already done, or it's almost done. Okay, you just need to do a finishing touches. All right, this is a very good proverb to use. All right, you can always advise someone, okay, when somebody is initializing a project or starting up a project, always tell that person, be well prepared. Okay, make a very, very informed and an absolutely great start so that the project is almost done. All right, so that is how we will use this proverb. Okay, going on to the next one. Now, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. This is actually an interesting one. Okay, this is that a person needs to make his own efforts. Okay, now you can give a lot of money to somebody, you can buy a person a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, but that person can only drive it if he or she makes the initiative to learn it. Okay, this is a very good phrase to use actually. All right, you might give somebody everything. Okay, you might be as rich as anything and give everything to your child, but your child will only better utilize it if he or she learns. Okay, like for example, learns how to drive a car. Okay, you might give as much money for somebody's tuition fees, but what use is it if that person is actually not learning anything or not educating himself or herself? Okay, so this proverb is used, okay, to help someone to initialize, to make efforts, okay, to put in efforts to do something. Okay, not everything can be done by you, by someone else for you. Okay, you cannot be spoon-fed. You have to make the effort by yourself as well. Now, I hope you have enjoyed learning and listening to these proverbs, these beautiful proverbs that you can use in your absolutely daily lives. Okay, I hope that you've enjoyed it, and this is Ria signing off. Till then, I hope you keep on learning.